And now, the rest of the story. And this is about the birth of a city. Late in 1982, a member of the staff of the Illinois State Archives in Springfield came running into the office announcing, "Look what I have found." And he was brandishing a recent Illinois Historical Society journal open to an article on early Chicago. "Look," he said, "at the bibliography." And his colleagues looked at the bibliography. And one by one their jaws dropped. It was a subtle thing, a printed date, which only a scholar would appreciate. And yet to those who realized its potential significance, how dramatically it sat there, silent but shouting from the journal's page. It was the date of one of the original sources for the article. It had been written in the 1830s. Well, immediately the Loyola professor who had written the article was contacted. Yes, he confirmed he had been digging through documents in the cellar of Chicago City Hall, and he had discovered an original city record almost 150 years old. But that was impossible, declared the archivists. Any such city record would have been stored in City Hall in 1871, and that was the year of the Great Chicago Fire, which destroyed the building and everything in it. But the professor remained adamant. He had seen the document with his own eyes, he insisted. Well, this is the rest of the story. State Archives executives believed the professor, enough so that they were tantalized. They put together a special team of researchers, 4 full-time workers and a supervisor, who would travel to Chicago and attempt to rediscover those records. For proof of the existence of even one city document that old would be of major historical significance. At City Hall, the research team was informed that the material the professor had perused was not there anymore, had been moved to a warehouse on South California Avenue. The archivists went there and discovered a nightmare. 1,500 cubic feet of paper, some of it stuffed into cardboard boxes, 600 of them. The rest heaped on the floor in loose piles and bales bound with heavy tape. Some of the boxes were stacked on wooden shelves so full that they were bursting. But the researchers launched themselves into the tedious task, cataloging items as they went, until there, midst that mountain of paper in that warehouse, midst vacant lots and junkyards, that one incredible item was found, dated September 5, 1833. And it has been called the birth certificate of the city of Chicago. It was the original document recording the vote to incorporate the city. The vote, by the way, was 12 in favor and 1 against. Yet there was something else significant about that piece of paper, beyond its age, beyond its historical value, beyond the fact that somehow it survived the Great Fire. For it told something about the nature of the city's beginnings. You see, 2 of the 13 who voted to incorporate, as further research would corroborate, were not Chicago residents. 2 of the 13 Chicago voters lived outside the geographic limits of the proposed town. If Chicago is famous for vote fraud, perhaps you wondered when that tradition began. Well, now you know it is as old as the city itself, because now you know the rest of the story.